He hands the ball to Italian left-hander Chris Cooper. Admittedly via Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the city of his birth.
Yeah, and if you missed it early on, we said, well, Chris Cooper's family name was Carboni. And that's how he qualifies. As a result of his grandparents being of Italian descent, born in Italy.
Chris was originally drafted by the Indians back in 2001 out of the University of New Mexico. Gets a swing and miss on Michael Saunders here. Saunders and Robinson trying to pick up Justin Morneau aboard via the leadoff single. 5 runs on 5 hits for Italy, a run on 3 hits for Canada thus far. Still a lot of baseball left to be played. Sorry for the cliche. You just get that sense when you watch these games, getting with all the pitching change that the rules necessitate, that these games go all 9. I mean, there's no big lead that's safe in a game like this. Cooper's 1-1.
And the other phase of one of the other things teams pay attention to in World Baseball Classic games is that you don't just get a 5-1 lead and sit on it. Every additional run you can score, if there's a tiebreaker comes into play, it adds to your chances of advancing.
Back to the inside corner and missed on Saunders. It's 2-2, and you bring up a really good point, because with each team playing only 3 games in this first round, you're going to get a couple of teams 2-1. You're going to get a couple of teams 1-2, and then what? Then it turns from standings to head-to-head, and then there's a math equation that determines who moves on if they are still tied after that process. Sure, it could be easy if one team could run the table going 3-0, and it could all lay out in terms of the standings, and you wouldn't have to go to the tiebreaker formulas. But with each team playing only 3 games, it's commonplace to have some kind of tie at the end of the first round, and that's where the math plays in. Chris Robinson waiting on deck. A full count 3-2 to Michael Saunders.
In the ways that would come into play is if, for example, one team was 3-0 and there were 3 teams 1-2, you'd have to have a tiebreaker. Or if there's 3 teams 2-1, you'd have to have a tiebreaker, and there's the formula.
It's basically a runs differential math formula. They call it TQB. Runs scored over innings played on offense versus runs allowed over innings played on defense. Did he hold up? He did on the appeal down to third. And Canada puts its leadoff hitters aboard to start the 4th.
That's a good at-bat by Michael Saunders. See, Morneau didn't get by, or I think it was maybe Joey Votto, or it was Morneau earlier in the inning. Team Italy thought that he did go, didn't get the call, and all of a sudden Canada has 2 on, nobody out, and Team Italy will get their bullpen ready again. I think the Italian team was gathering on the mound just to discuss whether Canada might try to sacrifice 2 men over. But I wouldn't think in a 5-1 game right here that you'd play for 2 runs. You'd probably just sit back and swing the bat. We'll see what Ernie Witt does.
Chris Robinson was a strikeout victim in his first at-bat this afternoon. Runners at first and second and nobody out. 5-1 Italy, and Robinson's going to give himself up early. A ball and no strikes.
Well, if I were Team Italy, I'd be pleased with that. I mean, it's true Ernie's saying let's get them 1 or 2 at a time, but well, when you're up 5-1, if you can get it out, every out to keep that lead at the end of the inning, I'd be pleased that they're bunting.
Bunting again, and he gets it down. Barehanded by leading, and they do get the out on Robinson, but the sacrifice works. Morneau and Saunders advance, and there's 1 away.
Yeah, not often you see a team use a right-hand hitter against a left-hand pitcher to lay down a sacrifice bunt. It's good execution. by Chris Robinson. What a great shot. Just saw that him deaden the ball, perfect bunt. Risky play by Lady barehanded, but he makes it Mike Schmidt type fashion. And now you've got left-hand pitcher against left-hand hitter. And a hitter who primarily in his career was a pitcher.
Adam Lowen grounded out to third base in his first at-bat today. Swings at a breaking ball, 0-1. I don't know if you saw anything of what has been happening in the other pools, and speak specifically of Hensley Mullens, who is managing the Kingdom of the Netherlands team. And your guy Bam Bam, who was never much of a small ball player in the big leagues, 7 career sacrifice bunts. He's already bunted 6 times in, I believe, 2 games.
Well, if you go over the Netherlands, which I have, and seen their program over there, they do a great job of training their players. Former big leaguer Robert Eenhoorn is in charge of the Dutch Baseball Federation, and they're well schooled in all phases of the game, and that's an example of the number of sacrifice bunts they have used to produce runs.
And the correct number is 6 sacked bunts in 4 games so far in the World Baseball Classic. Lowen can't hold up on another breaking ball and swing and a miss, and there's one gone.
That's why I was really surprised at Bernie with the strategy to use Robinson's bunt to give to a left-hand hitter who is awfully inexperienced, and Chris Cooper just used the breaking ball to strike out Lowen.
Check the outs, 2 away here with 2 runners aboard, and now it's Pete Orr. Orr cashed in on the 2-out double that brought in Canada's only run in the second. In a similar situation here, only with 2 away, there are 2 runners aboard.
Got his pitch to hit. Most hitters will say every at-bat, I'll get one hittable pitch from a pitcher, and that first one to Pete Orr was right where he wanted it. Got a nice fastball, move above the belt, fouled it straight back. Now a big advantage for Cooper to go to his breaking ball.
Out of the stretch to 0-1. A reminder later tonight, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Team USA begins the pool with a first-round matchup against Mexico. And if that game was important for Mexico before yesterday, it has become crucial for them as a result of their loss to Italy yesterday afternoon. And Jim and I will be here for that one later on tonight. Orr pops that one up in foul territory. He's leading to retire the side. Canada gets his first 2 hitters aboard in the 4th, but they are turned away. It's still 5-1 Italy.